My wife Allie and I spent much of last year wedding and honeymoon planning. So after our big day, we flew out to the state of Colorado for a week. We stayed in not one, but 2 different Airbnbs. Why Colorado? I'm glad I asked. 3 reasons. 1, neither of us had seen the mountains in person before. 2, we wanted to do a lot of hiking. And 3, arguably the most important reason of all, I'm a Broncos fan.
They suck.
There, I said it. I'm done watching. I know we didn't have a great year, but I'm a true fan. So, Broncos country, let's try. I don't know. The reason for this video is because I want us to be able to put all the memories that we have together. We took a lot of pictures and videos of our trip. They're kind of all over the place. They're in between Allie's phone, my computer, my phone, and I just want to put them all together into a video so that later, years down the road, we can show them to our kids and they'll know what their parents were up to. Or I can show it to Allie and we can watch it together and ask ourselves all the questions that start with, do you remember when fill in the blank, you know? So we landed at the Denver airport, but we went straight to a sports bar to watch the Broncos game. They were playing their season opener, which they ended up losing. I think I had a fat burger and then Allie had wings, or we shared it all. I don't remember exactly. And this is part of why I'm making this, because I wish I would have taken more pictures, but at the same time, I'm glad I didn't. I just wanted to be in the moment. So we absolutely destroyed this meal and we drove straight to our first Airbnb. So we arrived in Netherlands, not to be confused with these Netherlands, this Netherlands. And this town is in the middle of nowhere. I'm standing in the balcony here and you can just about see the whole town from here. This town is tiny. There's like 1,500 people here. That's like as many people as graduated from my high school, except people here were actually nice and wanted to talk to me. Time for an Airbnb tour. This was our first one. This place was really cozy. It was small, but it had everything we needed. They even had some of these chickens and ducks and this massive dog. It could pass as a horse for Allie. Then the next day we went and got some coffee from this train. There's actually a coffee shop in there. It was really nice. We made our drive to Estes Park. But along the way we found this neat little church here. And I was reading online, they actually let you ring the bell if it's open, but it wasn't. All we could really do was take a picture outside. And these guys right here, they were really cool. They saw us take a picture and they said, "My brother in Christ, would you like us to take a picture for you?" And so I said, okay, they didn't actually say that. I just thought it was fitting because it's a church. So we finally arrived at Estes Park, and then I love breakfast. I think it's my favorite time to go out to eat. And we found this place, and you know, any place that has the name of the town in its name, you know it's gonna be good and it's local. So I got me my eggs Benedict that I always do, and Allie got I don't know what she got, but then we went around and walked around the lake. It's called Lake Estes, and it started to rain fairly quickly after we got there. And then we also wanted to do canoeing around the lake, but one day prior to us getting here, that was the last day they were open for business, so we couldn't rent the canoe. We found the next best thing, which I'm a Stephen King fan, so any of you out there know of this hotel. It's very popular. It's called the Stanley Hotel, and this is where Stephen King got a lot of the inspiration for The Shining, and I thought it was very interesting, so we booked a tour. We got some chocolate while we waited. This chocolate looks like, I don't know, a little small turd or something. I don't know why we're holding it like that, but it was delicious. Then we went on the tour. This tour guide right here, she was amazing. You could just tell she loves her job. Here's the bathtub. This is from, if you've seen the movie, then you know. If not, then I'm not gonna spoil it for you. There's a little miniature house. Aside from the movie, they also have a little mini series that aired on TV somewhere. Here's one of the hatchets that was used. And then they also had this prop door, which is very iconic. And, you know, there was only one thing to do here. So after the tour, it was still raining. I got this really cool shot of Allie just kind of standing there in the middle with the mountains in the distance. And if I had to summarize our trip in one picture, this might be it. It's just rainy Colorado, mountains in the distance, and no air. But yeah, just look at that view. I was just drinking wine. I had this classy look to me, like I'm modeling or something. But then it finally stopped raining. We went out and I was on a mission to find me some ice cream. And then we visited this neat little store with like 2 levels to it. Allie loves stationery and anything you can write on, envelopes, cards, all that. So this was a great store to visit. Okay, so this is I'm going into the story here, and I hope I'm not the only one, but Ali and I had never gotten a couples massage. And if you think of a couples massage, what you picture is probably something like this. But no, not for us. Now, in order to explain this, I made this great picture, so just bear with me. Okay, so this is the room, right? We come in through this side right here, and there's two masseuse people. One is right here, the other one is over here. So I get the guy, Ali gets the lady. I'm over here, laying face down. She's over here, laying face down. And there's about 30 feet separating us. And then there's this curtain right here that they normally cover both the rooms with so that people can have their privacy. So what they did for our massage was simply take off this curtain. And then all they did was said, you want a couples massage? There you go. So yeah, not great. We should have done more research and maybe asked what the couples massage experience is like, but that's on us. So the next day was kind of lax. We went to this little bakery down the street in Netherland, and we just absolutely destroyed these bagels and walked around some of the local shops in town. They were all kind of run down, but they were neat. We knew we had a long hike ahead of us the next day. Netherland also has a lot of trails, and we figured we're gonna be in altitude hiking. We might as well try a little trail and see how that goes. Something happened that made me think we may not be able to go to Rocky Mountain Park. Rocky Mountain National Park is where Emerald Lake is, and it's one of the most beautiful hikes you can go in Colorado. But I was thinking later that night that we may not be able to do it because Ali wanted to eat some pad thai. She loves pad thai. I didn't have a problem with that. I like it too. So we went to this restaurant, we had some food, but later that night, Ali got sick. She was puking up all her food. If we learned anything is Ali needs to chew her food a little better because those chunks were huge. They looked bigger than the actual meal. I was thinking if she can't get over this and she can't keep anything down, she's not gonna feel good to go on this hike. And I was hoping that she would feel better and we could just go hiking. But she did. The next day we drove back to Estes Park. There's a shuttle bus that takes you up to the entrance. The hike itself is 2.5 miles there and back. But then I didn't realize that a lot of this hike is uphill, and so it feels a lot worse than it actually is. One thing you should know, this guy right here, he had no idea that he would be making a video about this. And so I didn't take that many videos. Thankfully, Ali did. So she's a big reason why I'm making this, because I actually have some video to show you. That was the biggest hike, but that was not the highest place we would go. We wanted to drive up to this place called Mushroom Rocks. And Mushroom Rocks is pretty cool. I mean, the rocks are just shaped like a mushroom, but it's really high in altitude and you have to drive like another 40 minutes. This drive was also amazing. It went from sunny to rain to sleet, back to sunny again in like 10 minutes. Now, we didn't actually make it all the way to the Mushroom Rocks. This was the most difficulty I've had hiking, and I'm sure it was a combination of the altitude, how tired I was, but the views were amazing. Back in Netherlands, we went to this place called Crosscut Pizza. The pizza was meh, but you know, when you're on vacation, I feel like everything just tastes better. And then for our last day in Netherlands, we went to this place and got this bagel and just ate it on the way to Boulder. We have one more hike to do. I forget the name of this trail, but it overlooks the Flatiron Rocks in Colorado. And then we drove to Pearl Street Mall. And then it was finally time to make it to our second Airbnb. This one was underwhelming. It looked a lot better on the listing, but it did the job. And then we cooked what has now become our official honeymoon meal.
We're cooking on our honeymoon.
We absolutely destroyed that. The next morning, we went to this place. What's it called? I think this place is called The Bindery. The coffee was great. But then we went to a museum of arts and sciences. Saw a lot of neat little stones, including this giant diamond. Just look at that thing. And then we saw some of these dinosaurs, including whatever the heck this thing is. Bruh. And you know, we're always hungry, so we made our way to the Central Market in Denver, and we leave town to go on our honeymoon. And what do we eat? Chicken fingers. But these chicken fingers were to die for. Just look at that steam. But then I got a call from one of my friends. He said, "Hey, I'm over here to meet you if you want to come on down to the Broncos Stadium." So I said, "Say less, I'll be right there." So we made our way, and there he was. Look, Peyton Manning, just in the flesh. Okay, in the stone or whatever that is. But look, he was so happy to see me. Then we made our way back home, rested for a little bit, and then guess what? We got hungry again. So we went to this Mexican place. It's called Red Tacos or something like that. They were just meh. But Allie got this corn, and it was great. You love flowers. So for our last day, we visited the Denver Botanical Gardens. And I gotta say, I'm not a big flower person. I never really have a reason to do something like this. But there's something calming about seeing all the flowers neatly lined up. And I remember seeing how happy you were. And that's reason enough for me. I think that's what it's all about. It's about the memories. And it's nice to share, but some are meant to live in our heads. So, tell me,